Tonight, we begin a gentle journey into the long and quiet story of Texas. This is not a story meant to be rushed, and it is not a story that demands attention. It is simply a calm flow of time, land, and human life, told slowly, so your mind can rest as it listens. Texas is a place of wide skies and open ground. Even before names were given to it, before borders were drawn, the land was already breathing in its own steady rhythm. Winds moved softly across grasslands. Rivers followed their familiar paths. The sun rose and set without hurry, day after day, year after year. As you listen, there is no need to remember everything. There is no need to hold on to details. This story is designed so that it continues gently, even if your thoughts drift, even if sleep slowly arrives. If you miss a moment, the land will still be there when the story moves on. The history of Texas stretches across thousands of quiet years. Long before modern cities, long before roads and railways, people lived close to the earth here. Their lives followed the seasons. Morning light signaled the start of daily routines, and evening shadows brought rest and warmth around small fires. Time moved slowly, measured by nature rather than clocks. As centuries passed, the land began to see new footsteps. Some arrived by water, some by horse, some by long and careful travel across unfamiliar ground. Each group brought its own habits, its own way of understanding the world. Still, life remained simple for most people. Days were shaped by work, weather, and quiet human connection. This story will move forward the same way life once did, slowly, calmly, without sharp turns or sudden changes. You may hear about farms forming where open land once stretched freely. You may hear about towns growing gently around rivers and trade paths. You may hear about change, but never in a loud or urgent way. Change here happens like the shifting of light across a field, almost unnoticed at first. As the hours of listening pass, this story is meant to feel safe. There are no loud moments waiting ahead, no tension to hold on to, only the steady continuation of people waking, working, resting, and sleeping beneath the same sky. Let your breathing slow as the land unfolds. Let the pace of the story guide your thoughts into stillness. You are simply listening to time move forward, one quiet moment at a time. And now, as the night deepens and the world around you grows softer, we will gently begin the story itself, starting from the earliest days, when the land of Texas was young, open, and quietly waiting. Number 1, ancient lands and the first peoples of Texas. The story begins long before Texas had a name, long before maps, borders, or written memory. It begins with the land itself, resting quietly beneath an open sky. Imagine a wide and gentle earth, stretching far in every direction. Soft plains roll slowly into low hills. Rivers move without effort, following paths they have known for ages. The air is calm, carrying the faint scent of grass, soil, and water. Nothing is rushed here. Nothing asks for attention. In these earliest times, the land of Texas is whole and undisturbed. The days pass in a steady rhythm. Morning light spreads slowly across the ground. Afternoon warmth settles in without pressure. Evenings arrive gently, cooling the air and softening the colors of the sky. The first people to live here do not try to control the land. They live beside it. They listen to it. They learn its patterns through quiet observation and time. Life moves simply. People wake with the light. They travel carefully, following animals, water, and familiar ground. Their homes are shaped by what the land offers, and nothing more than what is needed. There is comfort in this balance, a sense of belonging that comes from knowing where to walk, where to rest, and when to be still. The land provides food in many forms. Plants grow naturally with the seasons. Animals move across wide spaces, following ancient routes. Fishing waters remain calm and dependable. Nothing is taken in haste. Nothing is wasted. Time is not counted in numbers. It is felt in the body, in the air, in the length of shadows, in the return of warmth after cold, In the slow change of leaves, grasses and skies, children grow up watching their elders move with care and patience. Stories are shared in soft voices, passed from one generation to the next. They are stories of the land, of ancestors, of journeys made and lessons learned. These stories do not rush. They unfold gently, just like the days themselves. At night, the land grows quiet. Stars fill the sky in endless patterns. Fires glow softly, offering warmth and light without noise. The sounds of the earth continue in the distance. Wind through grass, water moving over stone, the quiet presence of life all around. Sleep comes naturally here. There is no struggle against time. The body rests when it is ready. The mind slows as darkness settles in. Seasons pass in calm cycles. Sometimes the land is dry and open. Sometimes rain returns, bringing fresh life to the soil. Each change is accepted, not feared. Adaptation comes through understanding rather than force. As years pass, and then many years more, the people remain deeply connected to the land. They move when they need to move. They stay when staying feels right. Their relationship with the earth is steady and respectful. Different groups live across this wide space, each shaped by the land around them. Some dwell near water, some follow open plains, some live among trees and gentle hills. Each way of life is shaped quietly, without urgency. The land itself seems to remember them. Footpaths form slowly, pressed into the earth by repeated journeys. Gathering places become familiar through use and shared memory. Nothing is permanent in a harsh way. Everything exists as long as it is needed. The passage of time is slow enough to feel peaceful. Generations come and go like waves that rise and fall without disturbing the shore. Life continues in the same steady rhythm. There is no sense of beginning or ending here, only continuation. As the centuries move forward, the land remains patient. It does not change suddenly. It does not demand attention. It simply holds space for those who live upon it. Even when distant worlds begin to shift, even when unseen changes are forming far away, this land continues its quiet existence. Grass grows, rivers flow, stars rise and fall in the sky. This early Texas is a place of deep calm, a place where life unfolds gently, guided by nature rather than plans, a place where listening is more important than speaking. And as this first part of the story drifts onward, there is no need to remember every detail. There is no need to stay fully awake. The land will continue its slow rhythm whether you are listening or resting. The people will continue their quiet routines. Time will move forward at its own gentle pace. You can let your breathing slow. You can allow your thoughts to soften. This story will keep going, calmly and steadily, carrying the land of Texas forward through time, one peaceful moment at a time. The land remains calm as time continues to move, almost unnoticed. There is no clear line between one generation and the next. Life flows forward like a slow river, steady and patient. Morning light arrives gently again and again. Mist lifts from the ground. Birds move quietly through the air. People rise without hurry, stretching into the day as if following a familiar rhythm that has always been there. The land teaches through repetition. By walking the same paths, people learn where the ground is firm and where it softens after rain. By watching the sky, they learn when warmth will stay and when cooler air will arrive. There is comfort in this knowing, in understanding the land not through words but through presence. Daily life remains simple and balanced. Food is gathered slowly, with care. Hands move calmly, guided by experience rather than urgency. There is time to pause, time to rest, time to simply sit and observe the world moving gently around them. Children grow within this calm. They learn by watching rather than being told. They follow quietly, absorbing the rhythm of movement, the way people speak softly to one another, the way silence is respected rather than filled. Even conflict, when it arises, does not feel sharp or sudden. Disagreements pass like brief changes in weather. The land remains steady, offering space for resolution and understanding. Nothing lingers in a way that disturbs the long flow of time. As seasons change, people adjust without resistance. When warmth stays longer, life stretches outward into open spaces. When cold arrives, people gather closer, sharing warmth and quiet companionship. The land supports both moments equally. Paths slowly become more familiar. Some are used often, pressed gently into the soil. Others fade back into the earth when they are no longer needed. Nothing forces permanence. Everything is allowed to come and go naturally. Night continues to be a place of deep rest. Fires burn low. Voices soften. Stories drift gently through the air, not meant to instruct, but to comfort. They remind listeners of where they are and of those who came before. Sleep settles over the land like a blanket. Stars remain steady overhead, offering quiet reassurance. The land breathes slowly, holding everyone within its calm presence. As many years pass, the people remain attentive to small changes. A river may shift its course slightly. A familiar animal path may move farther away. These changes are noted gently, accepted without fear. The land is never owned in the way future generations will understand ownership. It is shared, respected, and trusted. People know they belong to it, rather than the other way around. Time continues to stretch forward. Generations pass quietly, leaving behind memories rather than monuments. What remains is not built from stone or marked with symbols. It lives in habits, movements, and shared understanding. Even as distant places begin to change beyond the horizon, here the land remains patient. It waits without expectation. It continues to offer shelter, food, and a sense of grounding. The air carries the same familiar sounds: wind through grass, water moving over smooth stones, the soft presence of life continuing without effort. This long beginning of Texas is not marked by events. It is marked by continuity, by the calm passing of time, by the steady relationship between people and land. And as this second part of the story drifts onward, there is still nothing to hold tightly, nothing to remember clearly, nothing that demands attention. You can listen softly, you can rest, you can allow the rhythm of the land to guide your thoughts into stillness. The story will continue, slowly and gently, just as it always has. Number 2. Early daily life on the plains, forests, and coasts. As time moves forward, the land of Texas remains wide and patient, but life upon it begins to show gentle patterns shaped by place. Forests, plains, rivers, and coastlines each offer their own quiet rhythm, and people settle into daily routines that feel natural and unforced. In the eastern forests, the air is often cool and shaded. Tall trees filter the sunlight, letting it fall softly onto the ground. Leaves move gently with the wind, creating a calm, constant sound. Here, life follows the shelter of the woods. People wake slowly beneath tree cover, listening first, sensing the day before stepping into it. Mornings begin with simple tasks. Fires are tended carefully, coaxed back to warmth from glowing embers. Food is prepared with calm hands, using what the land has already provided. There is no rush to finish. Time stretches easily, allowing each movement to feel complete. Along rivers, life flows with the water. The rivers are steady companions, never hurried, never still. People gather near their edges, knowing that water brings both nourishment and direction. Fishing is done patiently. Canoes glide quietly across the surface, barely disturbing the reflection of the sky. The sound of water becomes part of daily life. It soothes the mind and sets the pace. People learn to wait, to watch, to move only when it feels right. On the open plains, the world feels larger. The sky stretches endlessly overhead. Grasses sway in long, slow waves guided by the wind. Here, movement is more visible, but no less calm. People follow animals across these open spaces, reading the land carefully. Footsteps are measured, eyes scan gently rather than sharply. There is an understanding that the land must be respected, not challenged. Daily routines on the plains revolve around balance. Food is gathered thoughtfully. Shelter is arranged with care, offering protection without permanence. Nothing is built to last forever. Everything is designed to move when needed. Children grow accustomed to wide horizons. They learn to recognize distant shapes and changing skies. They understand weather not through words, but through feeling. A shift in wind, a deepening cloud, a quiet stillness before rain. Along the coast, the air carries salt and moisture. The rhythm of life follows the tides. Water moves in and out again and again, bringing a sense of steady reassurance. Fishing here requires patience and attentiveness. Nets are set carefully. Shellfish are gathered slowly. The sea teaches its own lessons. It rewards calm observation. It discourages haste. People learn to wait for the right moment, trusting that it will arrive. Across all these landscapes, daily life shares a common tone. There is no sharp division between work and rest. Tasks are completed with a sense of flow, blending naturally into pauses and moments of stillness. Afternoons are often quiet. Heat settles gently over the land. Movement slows. People seek shade, water, or rest. Conversation softens or fades into silence altogether. This quiet is not emptiness. It is full of awareness. People listen to the land, to one another, to their own breathing. As the day begins to turn toward evening, activity resumes gently. Food is prepared again. Families and small groups gather close. There is comfort in familiarity, in shared presence without the need for many words. Stories are sometimes told, but they are not dramatic. They are reminders. They speak of animals, of journeys, of lessons learned through experience. The voices telling them are calm, unhurried, steady. Night arrives slowly. The sky darkens in stages. Stars appear gradually, filling the vastness above. Fires glow softly, offering warmth and reassurance. Sleep comes naturally. Bodies rest after a full but unstrained day. Dreams drift in quietly, shaped by the land and its rhythms. Seasons continue to change without urgency. Warm periods stretch out, encouraging long days outdoors. Cooler times bring people closer together, emphasizing shared warmth and calm reflection. Over many years, these routines deepen. They become instinctive. People know when to move, when to stay, when to rest. The land and its inhabitants exist in steady conversation. There is no sense of striving here, no pressure to expand or dominate. Life is defined by enoughness. Generations pass within this calm structure. Children grow into adults who carry the same rhythms forward. Elders gradually step back, offering quiet guidance through example rather than instruction. The land remains the constant presence. It holds memory not in objects, but in patterns. Paths worn smooth, gathering places remembered, seasonal movements repeated. As time continues, these early routines form the foundation of life in Texas. They shape how people understand the world and their place within it. There is no need to hold on to every image or detail. This story is meant to flow past you gently, like a slow-moving stream. You can let your mind wander. You can let your body relax. The people of this land continue their daily lives calmly, moving with the rhythms of forest, plain, river, and coast. And the story continues quietly and patiently as the night deepens and rest draws closer. As the gentle rhythm of daily life continues, the land of Texas slowly reveals how deeply it shapes the people who live upon it. Each place teaches its own quiet lessons, and over time, these lessons settle into the body like calm habits, never needing to be spoken aloud. In the forests, days often begin with soft light filtering through layers of leaves. The air feels cool and steady. Birdsong moves gently from tree to tree, never loud, never demanding attention. People wake gradually, listening first, sensing the mood of the morning before moving. The forest offers protection and familiarity. Trees stand close together, creating a feeling of shelter. Paths wind naturally, shaped by repeated steps and patient use. Movement here is slower, guided by touch, sound, and careful observation. Gathering food in the forest is a calm and practiced routine. Hands move carefully among plants, selecting what is ready, leaving what is not. There is trust that the land will continue to provide, season after season, without force. Water sources in the forest are treated with quiet respect. Streams are approached slowly. The sound of flowing water becomes part of daily awareness, a steady presence that soothes the mind. Along these wooded paths, time feels stretched and gentle. There is no clear beginning or end to the day, only a slow unfolding. On the open plains, life feels different, yet no less calm. Here, the horizon is wide and uninterrupted. The sky becomes the main companion, changing slowly throughout the day. Morning on the plains arrives with cool air and open light. People step into the day with awareness, reading the sky and the wind. Movement across the grasslands is measured, purposeful, yet unhurried. Animals move across these spaces in familiar patterns. People learn to follow without chasing, to observe without disturbing. The relationship between humans and animals is balanced, shaped by patience rather than pursuit. Shelter on the plains is light and adaptable. It offers comfort without permanence. When the time comes to move, movement happens smoothly, without resistance. Afternoons on the plains are often quiet. Heat settles gently, encouraging rest. People gather in shade or lie back to watch clouds drift slowly overhead. Conversation, if it happens at all, is soft and unforced. As the day begins to cool, activity resumes naturally. There is no signal, no instruction. The body simply knows when it is time to move again. Near rivers, life continues to follow the steady pace of water. Rivers shape both the land and the routines of those who live nearby. They offer food, direction, and calm reassurance. Fishing is never hurried. People wait patiently, trusting the flow. Canoes move quietly, guided by familiarity rather than effort. The water reflects the sky, creating a sense of openness even in stillness. Rivers also serve as meeting places. Small groups gather near the water's edge, sharing presence more than words. The sound of flowing water fills the space between them, removing the need for conversation. Along the coast, the sea introduces a slower, deeper rhythm. Tides move in and out, marking time without clocks or measures. People learn to align their activities with these natural movements. Morning along the coast often begins with cool air and soft light. The sea lies calm, stretching outward. Fishing and gathering are done with attentiveness and patience. The water is respected, never rushed. Life by the sea teaches acceptance. Some days offer abundance, other days offer rest. Both are received with the same calm understanding. Across all regions, daily life flows without sharp divisions. Work and rest blend naturally. There is time to pause, time to observe, time to simply be present. Children grow up surrounded by this calm rhythm. They learn through watching and doing. They are given space to explore gently, to understand the land through experience rather than instruction. Elders move more slowly, their presence steady and reassuring. They offer guidance through example, showing how to listen, how to wait, how to move with care. Evenings across the land share a similar quiet tone. The light softens, the air cools. People gather close, preparing food, sharing warmth, resting from the day. Stories, when shared, are simple and grounding. They speak of familiar places, familiar animals, familiar journeys. There is no urgency in these words. They are meant to comfort, not impress. Night settles gently. Stars appear slowly, filling the sky. Fires burn low, casting soft light and warmth. The land grows still. Sleep comes naturally, guided by the body's own rhythm. There is no resistance to rest. Dreams drift quietly, blending with the sounds of wind, water, and distant movement. As seasons change, routines adjust without effort. Warm periods encourage long days outdoors. Cooler times bring people closer together. Rain is welcomed. Dry spells are accepted. Over many years, these patterns become deeply rooted. They shape how people think, how they feel, how they move. The land and its inhabitants exist in a quiet partnership. Time continues to pass, unmarked by events, defined instead by continuity. Life remains steady, grounded and calm. There is nothing here that demands attention, nothing that needs to be remembered precisely. You can let your thoughts drift gently. You can allow your breathing to slow. The daily life of early Texas continues, shaped by forest, plain, river, and sea, moving forward quietly, patiently, and without effort. As the night deepens and rest draws closer, the rhythm of everyday life continues, unbroken and unhurried, flowing gently across the land. There is no single moment that stands apart from another. Each day blends softly into the next, like light changing across the sky. In the forests, the routines have become deeply familiar. People know the sound of each morning. They recognize the way the air feels before the sun fully rises. The forest breathes slowly, and those who live within it breathe the same way. Hands move with quiet confidence. Tools are simple, shaped by long use rather than design. Nothing feels new, yet nothing feels old. Everything simply feels right. The forest teaches patience. It reminds people that growth takes time. Plants return when they are ready. Animals follow paths that change gently, never suddenly. People learn not to expect too much and not to take more than needed. Along the rivers, the water continues its endless journey. It moves past stones, bends around roots, and reflects the sky without effort. People return to the same riverbanks again and again, finding comfort in familiarity. Fishing remains a quiet practice. Waiting becomes natural. Stillness becomes productive. The sound of water fills the space where thoughts might otherwise wander. Children play nearby, learning without instruction. They watch the water. They follow insects along the shore. They feel the coolness of shade and the warmth of sunlight, learning balance through experience. On the plains, the sense of openness continues to shape daily life. The wide sky encourages calm observation. Clouds drift slowly, offering subtle signs of weather to come. The wind carries quiet messages across the grass. People move with awareness, never fighting the space, never rushing across it. They understand that the land is vast and that there is time enough for everything. Hunting and gathering on the plains are guided by restraint. Animals are followed respectfully. Nothing is done quickly. Each movement is measured, each decision made with care. Shelters remain light and temporary. They offer comfort without claiming the land. When it is time to move, movement feels natural rather than disruptive. Near the coast, the steady motion of the sea continues to guide daily routines. The tides arrive and retreat without announcement. People learn to align themselves with this rhythm, adjusting without resistance. The sea is never forced to give. It is approached with respect and patience. Some days bring full nets, other days bring quiet rest. Both are accepted calmly. Across all regions, the pace of life remains gentle. There is no separation between living and resting. Work does not feel heavy, rest does not feel earned. Both are simply part of the same flow. Midday heat encourages stillness. People find shade, bodies relax, eyes close briefly, not in sleep, but in rest. Silence becomes a shared language. There is comfort in sitting together without speaking. Presence is enough. As afternoon slowly turns toward evening, movement resumes without signal. Fires are prepared. Food is gathered and shared. Hands work slowly, guided by routine rather than thought. Evenings bring a sense of closeness. Families and small groups gather, drawn together by familiarity. Voices are soft. Laughter, when it appears, is gentle and brief. Stories drift through the air, not meant to teach history, but to remind listeners of shared understanding. They speak of animals, landscapes, and simple lessons learned through living. Night arrives gradually. The sky darkens in layers. Stars appear one by one, steady and reassuring. The land cools, the air becomes still, sleep comes easily. Bodies rest without tension. Dreams move quietly, shaped by the land and its rhythms. Over long stretches of time, these routines remain stable. They do not aim toward progress or change. They aim toward balance. Generations pass without disruption. Children become adults. Adults become elders. Elders fade gently into memory. What remains is not written, not built, not marked. It lives in habit, in rhythm, in the quiet understanding of how to exist within the land. The land of Texas in this time holds everything together. It offers space. It offers patience. It offers continuity. There is no urgency moving forward, no tension waiting ahead, only the slow turning of days, seasons, and years. As this part of the story continues to drift onward, there is nothing you need to hold on to, nothing to remember clearly, nothing to anticipate. You can let your thoughts soften. You can let your breathing deepen. The daily life of early Texas continues quietly, shaped by land and time, moving forward at its own gentle pace, steady, calm, and perfectly unhurried, as sleep draws closer and rest settles in. Number 3. Quiet encounters between native lands and European explorers. The land of Texas remains wide and calm, holding its familiar shape beneath the sky. The plains stretch out in long, gentle lines. Rivers continue their slow movement, reflecting light as they always have. Forests stand quietly, their leaves shifting softly in the wind. Nothing in the land itself announces that change is coming. Life continues in its steady rhythm. People wake with the light, guided by habit rather than thought. Daily routines unfold gently, shaped by seasons and weather. There is still no sense of hurry. Time feels open and forgiving. Far away, beyond the reach of sight, distant lands are slowly changing. People there speak of travel and water and places unknown. Their curiosity grows over many quiet years. Eventually, this curiosity begins to move outward, carried by slow journeys across open water. When the first European explorers reach the edges of Texas, their arrival is not sudden. They do not rush in with noise or force. They appear gradually, often first seen as distant shapes near the coast or along river mouths. Their presence is quiet, almost uncertain. For the people who already live on this land, these moments are observed carefully. Unfamiliar boats rest against familiar shores. Strange materials catch the light. Clothing moves differently in the wind. The land itself remains calm, offering no sign of alarm. There is no shared language at first. Communication happens through gesture, through posture, through patience. People watch one another from a respectful distance. Curiosity exists on both sides, but it is cautious and slow. The explorers step onto the land carefully. The heat feels different from what they know. The open spaces feel larger, quieter. They pause often, adjusting their pace to the land, rather than forcing their own rhythm onto it. Daily life for the native people continues. Food is gathered as it always has been. Water is drawn from familiar places. Shelter is maintained with calm attention. The presence of newcomers does not yet disrupt these routines. Some meetings happen near water. Rivers become natural places of encounter. The steady sound of flowing water softens the moment, easing tension. People stand quietly, studying one another, letting time do its work. Objects are sometimes exchanged. Simple items pass from hand to hand. There is no rush to understand their purpose. Each object is examined slowly with curiosity rather than judgment. The land watches silently. It does not change its rhythm. The wind still moves across grass. Birds still rise and settle. The sun still follows its familiar path across the sky. The explorers begin to realize that this land does not respond to urgency. Distances are long. Heat demands patience. Silence invites listening. They learn, slowly, to wait. Some explorers stay only briefly. They rest, observe, then move on. Others linger longer, returning to the same places, recognizing familiar faces. Trust does not appear suddenly. It forms gradually, like a path worn gently into the earth. Evenings remain calm. Fires glow softly in the distance. Stars rise above everyone equally. Night offers the same rest it always has, indifferent to origin or purpose. The people of the land remain grounded in what they know. They do not abandon their ways. They allow space for something unfamiliar to exist alongside them. There is no clear moment when everything changes. There is only a slow widening of the world, a gentle awareness that new paths are forming quietly without force. As this first part of the encounters unfolds, the pace remains slow and steady. Nothing demands attention. Nothing needs to be remembered exactly. You can let the details drift past you. You can let your breathing soften. The land of Texas continues to hold all who walk upon it patiently and calmly as these quiet encounters begin. Slowly, gently, and without urgency, carrying the story forward as rest settles in. As time continues its slow and gentle movement, the land of Texas remains calm and familiar. The same winds travel across the plains. The same rivers carry their water toward the sea. Forests continue to stand quietly, offering shade and shelter without question. The early encounters between native communities and European explorers do not suddenly change daily life. Instead, they settle into the background, like a new sound that slowly becomes familiar. Nothing is forced to happen quickly. Everything unfolds in its own time. The explorers return again, sometimes following the same waterways, sometimes arriving along the coast. Their movements are careful. They learn that the land is wide and demanding, and that patience is required simply to move through it. The people of the land continue to observe. They notice patterns. They recognize certain faces, certain gestures. Familiarity grows, not into closeness, but into recognition. Meetings become slightly less distant. People stand nearer to one another. Silence still fills much of the space, but it feels softer now, less uncertain. Time stretches long enough to allow this quiet adjustment. Along rivers, encounters happen naturally. Water slows everything down. People sit or stand nearby, watching reflections move across the surface. The sound of flowing water eases the weight of the moment. Objects continue to be exchanged occasionally. Food, tools, small crafted items pass gently between hands. Each exchange is careful. Nothing is taken without thought. Nothing is offered without hesitation. The land remains unchanged. Grass continues to grow. Animals continue their familiar movements. The presence of newcomers does not alter the deeper rhythm of life. For native communities, routines remain grounded in the seasons. Gathering, fishing, hunting, and resting continue without interruption. The land still provides what it always has, and trust in it remains strong. The explorers begin to rely more on observation. They learn to wait for cooler hours. They learn where water can be found. They learn that the land does not respond to force, only to understanding. Some explorers travel farther inland. Others remain near the coast. Their paths are tentative, shaped by uncertainty and curiosity rather than confidence. Evenings remain peaceful. Fires glow softly across the land. The sky darkens slowly. Stars appear, steady and unchanged, reminding everyone that the night belongs to no one in particular. Sleep continues to come naturally. The land offers rest to all who move within it. Dreams drift quietly, unaffected by unfamiliar faces or distant intentions. Over time, small changes appear. New paths form near old ones. New sounds occasionally join familiar ones. Still, nothing feels rushed or dramatic. Trust grows slowly, unevenly, and quietly. Some meetings feel easier than others. Some remain distant. There is no single story, only many small moments. The land continues to hold all of this without judgment. It does not hurry understanding. It does not resist change. It simply allows it to unfold. As this part of the story drifts onward, there is still no sharp turning point. Only a gradual awareness that the world is becoming more connected, one calm meeting at a time. You do not need to follow every moment. You do not need to stay fully awake. The land of Texas remains steady and patient, carrying these quiet encounters forward slowly and gently as the night deepens and rest settles in. The land continues to rest in its familiar calm, holding the slow passage of time without resistance. Nothing about the earth itself feels hurried. The plains still open wide beneath the sky. The rivers continue their steady movement, smoothing stone and soil as they pass. The forests remain patient, offering shade and quiet shelter. As these encounters between native communities and European explorers continue, they settle into the background of daily life. They are no longer entirely new, yet not fully understood. They exist gently alongside routine, like a distant sound that comes and goes with the wind. The people of the land remain guided by their long-established rhythms. They wake with the light. They move through the day with care. They rest when the heat settles in and return to activity as the air cools. These patterns do not change easily, and they do not need to. Explorers begin to recognize this steadiness. They notice that time feels different here. Days stretch longer, distances feel wider, silence carries weight and meaning. Some explorers attempt to move faster than the land allows. They grow tired quickly. Others learn to slow themselves, adjusting their pace to match the environment. Those who wait find the land more welcoming. Encounters become quieter, less uncertain. People recognize one another from previous meetings. A nod replaces hesitation. Still, words remain few. Understanding grows through presence rather than explanation. Along rivers, shared space becomes more common. People sit near the water, allowing the sound of its movement to fill the silence. The river does not belong to anyone. It offers calm equally. Objects continue to pass between hands. Each exchange is thoughtful. No one rushes to assign meaning. Curiosity remains gentle, never demanding. The land itself continues to guide behavior. Heat encourages rest. Storms encourage shelter. The changing light of the day shapes movement naturally. At times, explorers stay longer, learning where water gathers, where shade holds, where travel becomes easier. At other times, they leave quietly, carrying their experiences with them, leaving little behind. Native communities remain grounded. They do not shift their ways quickly. They observe patiently, trusting the land to remain constant even as unfamiliar people pass through. Evenings remain peaceful. The sky softens into deeper colors. Fires glow gently across the landscape. Stars rise one by one, unchanged by the presence of anyone below. Night continues to offer rest. Sleep arrives without effort. Dreams move quietly, shaped by familiar sounds and steady rhythms. Over time, the sense of distance between worlds slowly narrows, not through force, not through urgency, but through repeated quiet presence. There is no clear ending to this period of encounters. It does not conclude with a single moment. It simply fades into the next phase of the land's long story. The land holds memory gently. Footprints appear, then disappear. Paths are used, then softened by time. Nothing is permanent, everything flows. As this part of the story settles, there is no tension to carry forward. Only the awareness that the land has begun to witness a wider world. You do not need to stay awake for what comes next. The land will continue to move the story forward on its own. You can let your breathing slow. You can let your thoughts drift. The quiet encounters of early Texas rest gently in the past now, held by the land, softened by time, as sleep draws closer and the night deepens, calm, steady, and unhurried. Number 4. Slow changes under Spanish missions and settlements. The land of Texas remains open and steady as another quiet layer of time begins to settle upon it. The sky still stretches wide. Rivers continue their slow journeys. The wind moves gently across plains and through trees, carrying familiar sounds. Change does not arrive suddenly. It never does here. Instead, it comes slowly, almost carefully, as if aware of the land's deep patience. From distant places across the water, more newcomers begin to arrive. They come with calm intention rather than haste. Their journeys are long, shaped by waiting and endurance. When they reach this land, they pause, sensing its scale and silence. These newcomers bring new routines with them. They carry quiet beliefs, daily practices, and a desire to stay rather than pass through. Still, nothing moves quickly. The land gently resists urgency, encouraging everyone to slow down. The first settlements begin simply. They are placed near water, where rivers offer familiarity and comfort. Buildings rise slowly, shaped by hands that are learning how to work with unfamiliar soil and climate. Walls are built not to dominate but to shelter. Spanish missions begin to appear as calm centers of routine. They are not loud places. They are quiet, structured, and repetitive in their daily rhythm. Bells sound softly, marking time in a way the land has never known before, yet even these sounds are absorbed into the wider silence. Life around the missions follows a steady pattern. Mornings begin early. Work is done slowly, guided by repetition rather than urgency. Fields are tended carefully. Animals are watched patiently. Nothing is rushed. For the native people, life continues alongside these new structures. Their routines remain grounded in the land. They move with seasons, weather, and familiarity. The presence of missions does not erase the old rhythms overnight. Instead, the two ways of living exist side by side, sometimes touching, sometimes remaining separate. There is curiosity on both sides. People observe one another quietly. They notice differences in clothing, movement, and daily habits. Understanding does not come quickly, and it is not expected to. The land itself remains unchanged. It offers the same heat, the same open distances, the same quiet nights. Everyone living here must adapt to it in their own way. Afternoons remain warm and slow. Activity eases naturally as the sun climbs higher. People seek shade, voices soften. The land encourages rest without asking. Evenings gather people closer together. Fires are lit. Food is prepared. The sky fades gently from light to dark. Stars appear, steady and familiar, watching over both old ways and new routines. The missions do not grow quickly. They settle into the land cautiously, learning where water holds, where soil supports growth, where shelter is most effective. Mistakes are made quietly. Lessons are learned slowly. There is no sharp division between past and present. Change here feels like an added layer, not a replacement. Old paths remain. New ones form nearby. The people of the land continue to trust time. They do not expect clarity or resolution. They simply continue living, day by day, step by step. Night remains peaceful. Sleep comes easily for most. The land offers rest equally to all who move upon it. As this first part of a new chapter unfolds, there is no tension to hold. Only the gentle awareness that life is slowly reshaping itself, guided by patience rather than force. You can let the details drift past you. You can allow your breathing to slow. The land of Texas continues to hold its people quietly, as missions and settlements begin their slow presence, calmly and steadily, carrying the story forward into the night. Time continues to move gently across the land, and the presence of the mission settles more deeply into the daily rhythm. Nothing pushes forward too fast. The land itself seems to slow every step, reminding all who live here that patience is not optional, but necessary. The missions wake early. Morning light touches their walls softly, warming stone and earth. The day begins with quiet routine. Simple sounds carry through the air, then fade back into silence. Work starts without urgency, guided by habit rather than command. Fields near the settlements are tended carefully. The soil is unfamiliar at first, and learning takes time. Hands move slowly, testing what will grow, what will last, what the land will allow. Some days bring success, other days bring quiet disappointment. Both are accepted without struggle. Water remains central to life. Rivers and streams continue to shape where people gather and how they move. Wells are dug with care. Channels are formed slowly. Every drop of water is valued, never taken for granted. For native communities, daily life continues in familiar ways. They rise with the light. They move with the seasons. They gather, hunt, rest, and travel as they always have. The land still speaks to them in a language they know well. At times, paths cross more closely. People meet near water or open ground. There is quiet cooperation in small tasks. There is also distance maintained gently, without confrontation. Learning flows in subtle ways. New tools are observed. New crops are introduced slowly. Old knowledge remains steady, grounding everything else. The missions begin to feel less new, less uncertain. They become part of the landscape, not dominating it, but resting within it. Their walls weather under sun and wind. Their presence softens with time. Afternoons remain slow and warm. Movement across the land eases naturally. People find shade and stillness. Silence becomes a shared comfort rather than an absence. Evenings draw people inward again. Work concludes gently. Food is prepared. Families and small groups gather without ceremony. The sky deepens into calm color, and stars return as they always have. Night does not change for anyone. It arrives quietly. It offers rest equally. Sleep settles over the land without effort. Over many seasons, the rhythm of life becomes layered. Old routines continue beneath new ones. Nothing is erased. Everything exists together, sometimes awkwardly, sometimes smoothly. The land holds all of it. It does not favor one way over another. It continues to offer space, water, and silence. As time passes, the idea of permanence begins to feel more real to some. Settlements remain. Buildings are repaired rather than abandoned. Paths are used again and again. Still, nothing feels hurried. There is no sense of rushing toward a future. Life remains rooted in the present moment. This period does not announce itself as important. It simply unfolds, day after day, season after season. Quiet change layered gently upon quiet continuity. As this part of the story drifts onward, You do not need to stay focused on every detail. You can let the land carry the narrative forward for you. Your breathing can slow, your thoughts can soften. The slow changes under missions and settlements continue peacefully, resting within the land of Texas, moving forward without force as the night deepens and sleep comes closer. The land of Texas continues to hold everything in quiet balance as time moves forward without sound. Days follow nights, seasons follow one another gently. Nothing feels sudden and nothing feels final. The missions and settlements are now familiar shapes in the landscape. They no longer feel new or uncertain. Their walls have softened under sun and wind. Paths around them are worn smooth by repeated footsteps. They rest within the land rather than standing apart from it. Each morning begins much the same. Light arrives slowly, touching rooftops, fields, and open ground. People wake calmly, guided by routine rather than command. The day unfolds at a pace shaped by the land itself. Work continues steadily. Fields are tended with care. Animals are watched patiently. Tools are used, set aside, and picked up again without hurry. Hands move with quiet familiarity. The land teaches everyone the same lesson. Nothing grows faster than it should. Nothing lasts unless it belongs. These truths are learned through repetition rather than instruction. Native communities continue to live close to the land, guided by long-held knowledge. Their movements remain seasonal and flexible. They travel when it feels right. They stay when staying feels natural. Their connection to the earth remains deep and steady. At times, lives overlap more closely. Shared labor happens quietly. Knowledge passes gently from one group to another. No single way replaces another. Instead, ways of living exist side by side, sometimes blending, sometimes remaining separate. Language is still limited. Understanding grows more through observation than through words. People learn how others move through the day. They notice habits, rhythms, and pauses. Familiarity forms slowly, without pressure. The land remains the constant presence. Heat shapes the day. Rain reshapes the soil. Wind moves freely across open space. Everyone living here must listen to these forces. Afternoons often grow quiet. The sun rests high in the sky. Movement slows. People seek shade and stillness. The land seems to invite rest, and rest is accepted. Silence becomes a shared experience. It is not empty, it is full of breath, light, and awareness. There is comfort in not filling every moment with sound. As the day cools, activity resumes gently. Evenings bring people together again. Food is prepared slowly. Small groups gather without ceremony. The sky fades into softer colors. Fires glow low. Voices remain quiet. Stories, when shared, are calm and familiar. They speak of daily life rather than distant ambition. Night settles over the land evenly. Stars appear as they always have. The sky feels wide and reassuring. The land cools and relaxes. Sleep arrives without effort. Bodies rest naturally. Dreams drift softly, shaped by routine and familiarity. Over many years, the presence of the missions becomes woven into memory. They are no longer seen as arrivals. They are simply part of the land's story. Another layer added gently over time. The old rhythms do not disappear. They continue beneath the surface, steady and reliable. Life does not rush toward change. It adjusts slowly, carefully, with respect for what already exists. This period does not end with a clear moment. It fades quietly into the next. Change continues, but always at the land's pace. As this part of the story comes to rest, there is nothing dramatic to hold on to. Only the feeling of time passing calmly. Only the sense of life continuing without urgency. You do not need to stay awake. The land will keep the story moving. You can let your thoughts drift. You can let your breathing deepen. The slow changes under Spanish missions and settlements remain gently held by the land of Texas, resting in quiet continuity, moving forward without force, as the night deepens and sleep settles in peacefully. Number 5. Life along the frontier in a growing borderland. The land of Texas continues to stretch wide beneath the sky, calm and patient, even as life along its edges begins to take on a slightly different shape. Time still moves slowly here, but it now carries more layers, more footsteps, more quiet intentions resting upon the soil. The frontier is not a sharp line. It is not a place where one world ends and another begins. It is a wide, gentle space where ways of life overlap, where routines settle gradually, and where the land continues to guide everything that happens upon it. Morning arrives softly as it always has. Light spreads across open ground, touching grass, trees, rivers, and distant hills. The air feels cool for a moment before the warmth begins to build. People wake without alarms or urgency, guided by habit and the natural rhythm of the day. Life along the frontier is shaped by distance. Homes are spaced far apart. Settlements feel small against the vastness of the land. The quiet between places is long and uninterrupted, filled only with wind, birds, and the slow movement of clouds. People who live here grow used to this quiet. It becomes a companion rather than an absence. Silence allows thoughts to settle. It encourages patience. It softens the edges of daily effort. Daily routines remain simple, though they now require more awareness. Fields are tended carefully, knowing that the land can be generous but also demanding. Animals are watched closely. Water is gathered and protected, valued more deeply with each passing season. Movement across the frontier is deliberate. Travel takes time. Paths are followed slowly, learned through repetition rather than maps. Each journey is planned with care, not because of danger, but because the land deserves respect. People rise early when travel is needed, using the cooler hours of the morning. They pause often, resting in shade, listening to the land around them. There is no benefit in rushing here. The land responds best to calm attention. Homes along the frontier are modest. They are built to provide shelter, not permanence. Walls hold back wind and heat. Roofs offer shade. Nothing is excessive. Everything has a purpose. Inside these homes, life is quiet and steady. Meals are prepared slowly. Hands move with familiarity. Conversation is gentle, often replaced by shared silence. Children grow up with wide horizons. They learn to recognize distant shapes and subtle changes in the land. They understand weather through feeling rather than instruction. They grow comfortable with long stretches of quiet time. The frontier encourages independence, but not isolation. People rely on one another in small, meaningful ways. Help is offered without ceremony. Assistance is accepted without pride or shame. Community exists quietly, spread across distance. Encounters between different groups continue, though they remain calm and unforced. People meet along paths, near water, or at familiar gathering places. There is recognition now, even if understanding remains incomplete. Trade happens slowly. Goods change hands without rush. Each exchange is thoughtful. Trust grows gently, built through repeated, quiet interaction. The land remains the shared foundation. It does not belong to one group more than another. It offers the same heat, the same storms, the same still nights to everyone. Afternoons often bring stillness. The sun rests high in the sky. Work pauses naturally. People find shade and rest, allowing the day to unfold without pressure. During these quiet hours, the frontier feels especially wide. Sound carries far. Movement is minimal. The land seems to breathe slowly, inviting everyone to slow with it. As the day cools, activity resumes. Animals are checked, fields are tended again. Travel continues if needed. There is no rush to finish before dark. Night is not feared here. Evenings bring a sense of calm closeness. Families gather. Fires are lit. Food is shared. Voices remain soft, blending easily with the sounds of the land. Stories, when told, are simple and familiar. They speak of daily life, of journeys made, of lessons learned through patience. They are not meant to impress. They are meant to settle the mind. The sky darkens gradually. Stars appear one by one. The land cools. The vastness above feels reassuring rather than overwhelming. Sleep comes easily after a full but unhurried day. Bodies rest, thoughts drift, dreams come quietly, shaped by open space and steady routine. As time continues, life along the frontier becomes a way of being rather than a condition. People learn to live within uncertainty without tension. They trust the land to guide them. There is no single moment that defines this period. It is defined by repetition, by routine, by the quiet acceptance of distance and time. As this first part of life along the frontier unfolds, there is nothing dramatic to hold on to. Only the steady feeling of days passing gently, one after another. You do not need to remember every image. You do not need to stay fully awake. The frontier of Texas continues to stretch wide and calm, holding its people gently within it. As time moves forward slowly and rest settles in, soft, steady, and unhurried. Time continues to move gently across the frontier, and the land of Texas remains wide, quiet, and steady. There is still no clear edge to this place, no firm boundary where one way of life ends and another begins. Instead, everything blends slowly, shaped by distance, patience, and routine. Morning returns again, softly and without announcement. Light spreads across open ground, touching fields, scattered homes, and long stretches of untamed land. The air is cool for a while, carrying the scent of earth and grass. People wait calmly, knowing the shape of the day before it fully arrives. Life along the frontier teaches attentiveness. Small changes matter here: the condition of the sky, the level of water, the movement of animals. Each detail is noticed quietly, not with worry, but with care. Daily work continues at a steady pace. Fields attended with patience, understanding that the land gives slowly and asks for respect. Crops grow at their own rhythm. Some days require effort, other days allow rest. Both are accepted as part of the same flow. Animals remain central to life. They are watched closely, guided gently, protected when needed. People learn to read their behavior, understanding when to move and when to wait. There is no harsh control, only steady guidance. Travel remains an important part of frontier life. Distances are long and journeys take time. People plan carefully, leaving early, carrying only what is needed. They move with the land, not against it. Paths become familiar through repetition. They are not marked clearly. They are remembered through use. Footsteps press gently into the soil, then soften again with time. Encounters along these paths are calm and brief, a quiet greeting, a shared pause, sometimes a short exchange of goods or information. Nothing lingers too long. The land encourages movement as much as it encourages rest. Homes remain simple and practical. They are shaped by necessity rather than comfort. Walls block wind and heat. Roofs offer shade. Inside, spaces are uncluttered, allowing the mind to rest. Life inside these homes follows familiar rhythms. Meals are prepared slowly. Hands move confidently, guided by habit. Silence is comfortable, often shared. Children grow within this steady environment. They learn independence early, but not loneliness. They understand how to spend time alone without feeling lost. They also learn when to seek others, when to offer help, when to wait. Community on the frontier is quiet but reliable. People may live far apart, but they notice one another. They remember who lives where. They remember who needs help and who offers it easily. Assistance is given without ceremony. A shared task, a borrowed tool, a moment of guidance. Nothing is made larger than it needs to be. Encounters between different cultures continue, shaped by caution and familiarity. There is no rush to blend or separate. People learn to coexist through repetition rather than agreement. The land itself enforces patience. Trade remains simple. Items are exchanged thoughtfully. Value is understood through usefulness rather than worth. Trust builds slowly, carried by repeated calm interaction. Afternoons often grow quiet. Heat settles across the land. Movement slows naturally. People rest in shade, allowing the day to breathe. During these hours, the frontier feels especially still. Sound carries far. Even small movements feel noticeable. The land seems to invite reflection, though not deep thought, just presence. As the day cools, activity resumes gently. Animals are checked again. Water is gathered. Fields receive quiet attention. There is no urgency to finish everything before night. Evenings bring comfort. Fires are lit. Food is shared. The sky softens into deeper colors. Stars return, steady and familiar. Stories are sometimes shared, but they remain simple. They speak of daily work, of journeys, of moments when patience mattered. They are grounding rather than exciting. Night settles across the frontier evenly. Darkness feels natural, not threatening. The land cools. The air grows still. Sleep comes easily. Bodies rest after steady effort. Thoughts drift without resistance. Dreams are quiet, shaped by open space and calm routine. Over time, life along the frontier becomes deeply familiar. Uncertainty loses its edge. Distance feels normal. The land teaches endurance without strain. There is no sense of rushing towards something new. Life is lived in the present, shaped by what the day requires and what the land allows. As this part of the story continues, there is nothing you need to hold on to, nothing you need to remember clearly. You can let your breathing slow. You can let your thoughts soften. The frontier of Texas continues to stretch wide and calm, holding its people gently within long days and quiet nights, moving forward without urgency. As rest draws closer and sleep settles in peacefully, the frontier continues to exist as a wide and gentle space, not defined by sharp borders, but by long distances and quiet understanding. Time moves here without urgency, carried forward by daily routines that feel steady and familiar. The land of Texas still stretches outward in every direction, offering openness and silence in equal measure. The sky remains wide and patient. Clouds drift slowly, changing shape without purpose. The sun rises and sets without hurry, guiding the rhythm of each day. People living along the frontier wake early, not because they must, but because the light invites them. Morning air feels cooler, calmer. There is a softness to these early hours, a sense that the day has not yet asked for anything. Daily work begins gently. Animals are checked. Water is gathered. Fields are observed carefully, not with worry, but with attention. Hands move slowly, guided by habit rather than thought. The frontier teaches people to listen, to the wind, to the ground beneath their feet, to the quiet signals of weather and season. Listening becomes second nature, woven into every movement. Travel remains a part of life, but it is never rushed. Journeys are planned with care, not fear. People know when to leave and when to stay. They understand that the land will not be forced to move faster than it wishes. Paths across the land remain subtle. They are not clearly marked. They exist through memory and repetition. A slight change in grass, a familiar bend near water, a distant landmark that guides movement quietly. Encounters along these paths are calm and brief. A nod of recognition. A few words exchanged softly. Sometimes shared silence is enough. Life on the frontier encourages self-reliance, but not isolation. People learn to handle daily tasks on their own, yet they remain aware of others around them. Community exists quietly, spread across distance and time. Help is offered when needed, without hesitation. A shared task, a moment of guidance. Nothing is announced, nothing is recorded. Homes remain modest and practical. They are shaped by the needs of the moment rather than long-term plans. Shelter from heat, protection from wind, a place to rest. Inside these homes, life is calm and uncluttered. Objects are few, each one has a purpose. There is space for stillness, for quiet thought, for rest. Children grow up with the land as their teacher. They learn patience through long days. They learn awareness through silence. They grow comfortable with solitude and with company, understanding the value of both. Afternoons often bring deep quiet. The heat settles gently across the land. Movement slows naturally. People rest in shade, letting the day breathe. During these hours, the frontier feels especially vast. Sound carries far. Even small movements feel noticeable. The land seems to pause, inviting everyone to do the same. As the sun lowers, activity resumes. The air cools, shadows lengthen. People return to tasks without urgency, finishing what feels right to finish. Evenings are peaceful. Fires are lit softly. Food is prepared and shared. The sky fades into deeper tones of color, then darkness. Stars appear slowly, filling the open sky. They feel close and familiar, steady and reassuring. The vastness above does not overwhelm, it comforts. Stories are sometimes shared in the evening, but they are quiet and familiar. They speak of daily life, of journeys taken, of lessons learned through patience. There is no need for drama. The land itself provides enough presence. Night settles evenly across the frontier. Darkness is not feared. It is expected. It brings rest. Sleep comes easily after a steady day. Bodies relax, breathing slows. Thoughts drift gently, shaped by open space and routine. Over time, life along the frontier becomes deeply ingrained. It no longer feels temporary or uncertain. It becomes a way of being, shaped by patience and respect for the land. There is no single moment when this chapter ends. It fades quietly into what comes next. The land remains. The rhythm continues. As this part of the story settles, there is nothing you need to remember clearly, nothing you need to hold on to. You can let your thoughts soften. You can let your breathing deepen. The frontier of Texas continues to stretch wide and calm, holding its people gently within long days and quiet nights, moving forward without urgency, steady, patient, and peaceful as sleep draws near and rest settles in fully. Number 6. Texas under Mexico. And the rhythm of a new era, the land of Texas remains steady beneath the sky as another quiet chapter begins to unfold. The plains still stretch wide. Rivers continue their slow path toward the sea. The wind moves as it always has, shaping grass and trees without effort. At first, nothing feels different. Change arrives here the way it always does, softly, gradually, almost without being noticed. As Texas becomes part of a new nation to the south, daily life does not suddenly shift. There are no sharp turns in routine, no loud announcements carried across the land. Instead, the change settles gently, like a new season easing in. People continue to wake with the light. Morning air still feels cool and calm. Work begins slowly, guided by habit rather than instruction. The land still sets the pace. Under Mexican rule, Texas remains distant from centers of authority. This distance keeps life quiet. Rules arrive slowly, softened by time and space. People here continue to rely more on the land than on distant voices. Settlements remain small and spread out. Homes rest lightly on the earth. Fields are worked patiently. Animals are tended with care. Nothing feels hurried or crowded. Spanish language and customs remain present, flowing naturally through daily life. Words are spoken calmly. Traditions are practiced through routine rather than ceremony. Faith, when observed, follows gentle patterns of repetition and rest. Missions and towns continue their steady rhythm. Bells sound softly, marking time in a way that blends into the wider silence. Work follows these sounds without urgency. Rest follows just as naturally. New settlers arrive gradually, many drawn by open land and quiet opportunity. They travel slowly, guided by patience and necessity. When they arrive, they must adjust to the land, not the other way around. The land teaches them quickly. Heat encourages stillness. Distance demands planning. Silence invites reflection. Life along the rivers remains central. Water continues to guide movement and settlement. People gather near its banks, sharing space quietly. Trade happens slowly, built on familiarity rather than speed. Different cultures continue to live near one another. Their routines overlap gently. Understanding grows through repetition rather than agreement. The land holds everyone equally. Afternoons remain warm and slow. Movement eases naturally. People rest without guilt. The day stretches wide, allowing time to feel generous rather than scarce. Evenings bring calm closeness. Fires glow. Food is shared. Conversation is soft, often fading into silence. The sky darkens slowly, as it always has. Night offers the same rest it always has. Stars appear steadily overhead. Sleep comes easily, guided by routine and quiet effort. As this new era begins, it does not announce itself loudly. It blends into what already exists. Life continues, shaped more by land and habit than by distant authority. This is Texas under Mexico, not as a moment of change, but as a continuation, a steady rhythm carried forward. You do not need to hold on to details. You do not need to stay awake. The land will continue to move the story forward gently as time passes quietly and rest settles in, slow, calm, and unhurried. Time continues to move gently across the land, and Texas remains quiet beneath the wide sky. The change of rule does not echo loudly through daily life. There are no sharp interruptions. Instead, the new era settles slowly, like dust after a long journey, resting softly on familiar ground. The land still decides the rhythm of each day. Morning arrives with pale light and cool air. People wake calmly, guided by routine rather than rule. The needs of the day are simple and familiar. Fields are tended with patience. The soil is worked slowly, respecting its limits. Some days bring growth, some days bring waiting. Both are accepted without struggle. Life remains spread out. Settlements are small, separated by long stretches of open land. Distance creates quiet. Silence becomes part of daily experience, shaping thought and movement. Under Mexican rule, authority feels far away. News travels slowly. Decisions made elsewhere take time to reach this land. By the time they arrive, they have softened, shaped by distance and delay. Because of this, people continue to rely on themselves and on the land. They trust familiar routines more than distant instruction. They listen to the weather. They watch the seasons. They plan according to what they see and feel. The Spanish language continues to flow gently through daily life. It is spoken softly, woven into routine conversation. Words carry familiarity rather than command. They shape daily interactions without demanding attention. Faith, for those who practice it, follows calm patterns. Days of work are followed by days of rest. Gatherings are quiet, repetitive, grounding. They provide structure without urgency. New settlers continue to arrive, drawn by the openness of the land. They come slowly, often in small groups. Their journeys are long and careful. When they arrive, they pause, sensing the scale and quiet of this place. These newcomers must learn patience. The land does not reward haste. Heat slows movement. Distance stretches effort. Silence encourages listening. Over time, they adapt. They rise early. They rest during the warm hours. They move again as the air cools. The land teaches them without words. Life near rivers remains steady and familiar. Water continues to guide settlement and movement. People gather along its banks, drawn by its reliability. Fishing and trade happen calmly, shaped by trust and repetition. Different cultures continue to exist side by side. Their routines overlap gently. Sometimes they share space, sometimes they keep distance. There is no rush to resolve differences. Understanding grows slowly through repeated encounters. A shared task, a familiar face, a quiet exchange. Trust forms gradually, without announcement. Afternoons remain slow and warm. The sun rests high in the sky. Movement eases naturally. People seek shade and stillness. Rest is not seen as weakness, but as wisdom. During these hours, the land feels especially wide and quiet. Sound carries far. Time feels unmeasured. Thoughts drift easily. As evening approaches, activity resumes. Animals are checked. Fields receive quiet attention. Homes prepare for night. Evenings are peaceful. Fires glow softly. Food is shared. Conversation remains gentle, often fading into comfortable silence. The sky darkens gradually. Stars appear one by one. They look the same as they always have, unchanged by human rule or border. Night brings rest without effort. Bodies relax. Breathing slows. Sleep arrives naturally, guided by steady routine. Over time, life under Mexican rule feels settled rather than new. It becomes part of the land's long story. Not a disruption, but a layer. People continue to live as they always have, shaped more by earth and sky than by politics. The land remains the constant presence, offering continuity and calm. As this part of the story drifts onward, there is nothing urgent to remember, nothing demanding attention. You can let your thoughts soften. You can let your breathing slow. Texas continues its quiet rhythm under a new flag, held gently by the land, moving forward without haste. As night deepens and rest settles in peacefully, the land continues to hold its steady posture beneath the sky, unchanged in its quiet presence. Days follow one another gently, and the rhythms of life settle deeper into the soil.
Texas, under Mexican rule, feels neither hurried nor uncertain. It simply continues.
Morning arrives again with soft light. The air is cool and forgiving. People wake slowly, listening first, feeling the shape of the day before stepping into it. There is no sense of pressure. The land still decides what is possible. Daily work unfolds with familiarity. Fields are checked, animals are guided calmly, water is gathered and protected. Each task feels known, repeated often enough to feel natural. Distance continues to shape life. Settlements remain spread apart, connected by long paths and shared understanding, rather than constant contact. Travel is planned carefully, not because of fear, but because the land asks for respect. Authority remains distant. Rules and decisions arrive slowly, if at all. When they do arrive, they are filtered through local routine and necessity. Life here remains practical, grounded and quiet. Spanish and Mexican customs continue to blend into daily routines. They are not imposed sharply. They flow naturally through language, through shared practices, through familiar patterns of work and rest. Faith, where it exists, remains gentle and repetitive. It provides structure without urgency. Days of gathering and rest follow one another calmly. There is comfort in repetition. New settlers continue to arrive in small numbers. They are drawn by land that feels open and unclaimed, by a life that promises space and patience. Their arrival does not disturb the deeper rhythm. They must learn to adapt. The land teaches them quickly. Heat encourages rest. Silence invites awareness. Distance demands planning. Those who listen find balance. Life along rivers continues to anchor communities. Water remains the most reliable guide. People gather near its banks, not out of necessity alone, but out of familiarity. The sound of water brings calm. Trade remains simple and slow. Items change hands thoughtfully. Trust grows through repeated quiet interaction. Nothing is rushed. Nothing is forced. Different cultures continue to exist side by side. Sometimes they share space easily. Sometimes they remain separate. There is no urgency to resolve differences. The land allows coexistence without pressure. Afternoons grow warm and still. Movement slows naturally. People rest in shade, allowing the day to stretch. Time feels generous here, not limited. During these quiet hours, thoughts drift easily. The land seems to pause, breathing slowly. Silence feels full rather than empty. As evening approaches, activity resumes without signal. Animals are checked again. Food is prepared. Homes gather their occupants inward. Evenings are calm and familiar. Fires glow softly. Conversation remains gentle, often fading into silence. The sky deepens into cooler tones. Stars appear gradually, steady and unchanged. They remind everyone that the night belongs to the land, not to borders or flags. Sleep comes easily. Bodies rest without tension. Breathing slows. Dreams move quietly, shaped by routine and open space. Over time, Texas under Mexican rule becomes less a period of change and more a continuation. Life remains shaped by land and habit rather than politics. The era blends into the long flow of time. There is no clear ending to this chapter. It fades gently like daylight into dusk. The land remains. As this part of the story settles, there is nothing you need to remember clearly, nothing that demands attention. You can let your thoughts soften. You can let your breathing deepen. Texas continues its quiet rhythm, held gently by land and time, moving forward without urgency, calm, steady, and patient, as sleep draws closer and rest settles in fully. Number 7, separation, independence, and life. In a young republic, the land of Texas remains wide and calm as another quiet shift begins to take shape. The sky still stretches openly above fields, rivers, and distant horizons. The wind continues to move across the plains without concern for human plans. At first, life feels much the same. Change does not arrive as a sudden break. It comes slowly, carried by conversations, by small decisions, by feelings that grow quietly over time. For many people living on this land, daily routines still matter more than distant ideas. They wake with the light, they work with the land, they rest when the day grows warm. Yet beneath this steady rhythm, a new awareness begins to form. It does not disturb sleep, it does not rush the day, it simply exists, like a thought that returns gently again and again. Settlements remain scattered and small. Homes sit lightly on the earth. Fields are worked with care. Animals are tended patiently. Distance still shapes how people live, creating long spaces of quiet between neighbors. People talk quietly when they meet. They share news slowly. Words pass from one place to another over time, softened by distance and repetition. Nothing feels urgent yet. The land itself remains the strongest presence. It asks for attention every day. It sets the limits of what can be done and when. No political idea changes the heat of the sun or the need for water. As thoughts of separation begin to grow, they do so unevenly. Some people feel them strongly, others barely notice. Many are more focused on the immediate needs of the day than on distant possibilities. Life continues along familiar paths. Rivers still guide movement and settlement. Trade remains slow and practical. Trust builds through repeated, quiet interaction rather than grand promises. Afternoons remain warm and still. Work pauses naturally. People rest in shade, allowing the day to pass without pressure. Silence remains a companion rather than a concern. Evenings bring the same comforts they always have. Fires glow softly. Food is prepared and shared. Voices stay low. The sky darkens gradually, as if nothing in the world has changed. Yet slowly, conversations begin to carry different weight. Not louder, not more frequent, just slightly more thoughtful. People speak about control over land and labor, about distance from decision-making, about the desire to shape life more closely to local needs. These discussions do not happen in crowds. They happen in small groups, near fires, along paths, beside rivers. There is no single voice leading these thoughts. There is no unified plan yet. There is only a shared feeling that life here is different from life elsewhere, and that this difference matters. Still, daily routines continue uninterrupted. Crops must be tended. Animals must be cared for. Shelter must be maintained. The land does not pause for ideas. The people of Texas remain practical. They understand that survival depends more on cooperation and patience than on declarations. They move carefully, both in thought and in action. As time passes, the idea of separation becomes more familiar, not dramatic, not loud, just present. Some feel hope in it, others feel uncertainty. Most feel a quiet mix of both. The land listens without response. It continues to offer space and silence. It allows thoughts to settle without forcing resolution. Night continues to arrive gently. Stars appear as they always have. Sleep comes naturally, even as new ideas rest quietly in the mind. This is how the early stirrings of independence begin in Texas. Not as a single moment, not as a sudden break, but as a slow, thoughtful shift within a steady daily life. As this first part of the story unfolds, there is nothing you need to hold on to tightly, nothing you need to follow closely. You can let the land carry the narrative forward. You can let your breathing slow. Texas continues to rest beneath the wide sky, holding both routine and change gently together, moving forward at its own calm pace. As night deepens and sleep draws near, time continues to move slowly across the land, and the feeling of change grows quietly, never forcing itself forward. Texas remains wide and patient, holding long days and quiet nights the same way it always has. The land does not hurry, even as human thoughts begin to shift more clearly. Daily life still begins with the light. Morning air feels cool and calm. People wake without urgency, guided by routine and familiarity. Animals are checked, fields are observed, water is gathered carefully. These tasks remain the center of each day, yet conversations now linger a little longer. Words are chosen with more care. When people meet along paths or near rivers, they sometimes pause, speaking softly about the direction life might take. These discussions are never rushed. They unfold slowly, shaped by trust and shared experience. Distance still defines life here. Settlements remain far apart. Travel takes time and planning. News moves slowly, changing slightly as it passes from one person to another. By the time it arrives, it feels less like an announcement and more like a quiet suggestion. The idea of separation does not feel like rebellion. It feels more like a desire for closeness, closer decision-making, closer understanding of local needs, closer connection between daily life and authority. Many people continue to focus on the present moment. The land demands attention every day. Crops must grow, animals must be cared for, shelter must be maintained. There is little energy for grand ideas when the basics require patience and effort. Still, the thought of independence continues to settle in gently. It becomes part of the background, like a familiar sound. Not always noticed, but always present. Some people feel hopeful. They imagine a life shaped more directly by those who live on the land. Others feel uncertain, wondering what change might bring. Most hold both feelings at once, without needing to resolve them. Community remains quiet and practical. People help one another without ceremony. Shared work builds trust more effectively than words. These bonds become more important as the idea of a young republic begins to take shape. There are moments of tension, but they are muted. Disagreements pass without escalation. The land seems to soften everything, reminding people that survival depends on cooperation. Afternoons remain slow and warm. Work pauses naturally. People rest in shade, allowing the day to stretch. During these hours, thoughts wander easily. The future feels distant and undefined. As evening approaches, activity resumes. Animals are checked again. Fields receive quiet attention. Meals are prepared slowly. Evenings remain calm. Fires glow softly, voices stay low. Stories are shared not of glory or ambition, but of daily life and shared memory. Night arrives without drama. Stars fill the skies they always have. The land cools. Silence deepens. Sleep continues to come easily. Bodies rest after steady effort. Thoughts settle, even when questions remain unanswered. As time passes, the idea of a young republic becomes more tangible. Not through grand moments, but through repetition. Through continued discussion, through the growing sense that life here follows its own rhythm. The land remains unchanged. It continues to shape behavior, expectation, and patience. No decision can override its influence. This period is not marked by loud beginnings. It is marked by quiet readiness, a sense that something new is forming, slowly and carefully. As this part of the story continues, there is no need to stay alert. There is no sudden turn waiting ahead. You can let your breathing slow. You can let your thoughts drift. Texas continues to hold routine and uncertainty together, allowing a young republic to form gently within daily life, moving forward at the same calm pace as the land itself, steady, patient, and unhurried. As rest settles in and sleep draws closer, the land continues to rest beneath the wide sky, unchanged in its quiet presence, even as people begin to think of themselves in slightly new ways. Texas does not feel suddenly different. The earth still holds the same warmth. The wind still moves the same grasses. Rivers continue their patient paths, untroubled by human decisions. Life in the young republic grows slowly into being, not through celebration or noise, but through routine. People wake as they always have, with the soft arrival of morning light. The air feels cool for a brief time, gentle and forgiving. There is a sense of calm familiarity as each day begins. Daily work remains the center of life. Fields are tended with steady hands. Animals are guided calmly, watched with care. Water is gathered and protected. Shelter is repaired and maintained. These tasks do not change with new ideas of governance. They remain constant, grounding everyone in the present moment. The idea of independence settles quietly into thought. It does not interrupt meals. It does not disturb sleep. It exists alongside daily effort, like a low, steady sound that blends into the background. Settlements remain small and spread out. Distance still shapes experience, creating long spaces of quiet between neighbors. Travel takes time. News moves slowly. By the time it arrives, it has softened, shaped by repetition and reflection. People continue to rely more on one another than on distant structures. Community remains practical and understated. Help is given when needed. Shared work builds trust more deeply than words or promises. The young republic feels less like a beginning and more like a continuation. Life does not pause to recognize it. Crops still grow according to season. Animals still follow familiar patterns. The land remains the strongest influence. Conversations continue quietly. People speak about responsibilities, about shared needs, about the importance of cooperation. These discussions are not loud, they are thoughtful, shaped by experience rather than ambition. Some people feel a gentle pride, others feel uncertainty, most feel both, without needing to choose between them. The land allows these feelings to exist without pressure. Afternoons remain slow and warm. The sun rests high in the sky. Movement eases naturally. People rest in shade, letting the day stretch without effort. During these hours, thoughts drift easily, unburdened by urgency. The quiet of the land encourages reflection, but not worry. Life here has always required patience. Independence does not change that truth. As evening approaches, activity resumes gently. Animals are checked again. Fields receive final attention for the day. Homes prepare for night. Evenings feel familiar and comforting. Fires glow softly. Food is prepared and shared. Voices remain low, often giving way to silence. The sky deepens gradually into darkness. Stars appear one by one, steady and reassuring. They look the same as they always have, reminding everyone that some things remain constant no matter how people define themselves. Night settles evenly across the land. Darkness is not feared, it is expected, it brings rest. Sleep comes easily after steady, unhurried days. Bodies relax, breathing slows, thoughts drift even when questions remain unanswered. Over time, life in the young republic becomes simply life. The idea of separation fades into routine. Independence becomes another layer in the long story of the land. There is no clear moment when this chapter feels complete. It blends into what comes next, quietly and without announcement. The land remains, the rhythm continues. As this part of the story settles, there is nothing you need to remember clearly, nothing that requires attention or effort. You can let your thoughts soften. You can let your breathing deepen. Texas continues to move forward gently, holding routine and change together beneath the wide sky, steady, calm and patient, as sleep draws near and rest settles in fully. Number 8. Becoming part of the United States and expanding westward, the land of Texas remains calm beneath the wide sky as another gradual shift begins to take place. Nothing about the earth itself feels different. The plains still stretch outward in long, quiet lines. Rivers continue their slow movement, reflecting the light of each new day. The wind carries familiar sounds across open ground. Change arrives here the way it always has, slowly, almost gently. So gently that daily life continues without interruption. As Texas becomes part of a larger nation to the east, the idea of belonging expands, but the rhythm of life does not rush to follow it. For most people, the land remains the first concern. The needs of the day still come before the ideas of distant places. Morning arrives softly. People wake with the light, feeling the cool air before the warmth settles in. Animals are checked, water is gathered, fields are observed with steady attention. These routines remain unchanged, grounding each day in familiarity. The idea of joining a wider union exists mostly in words and distant discussions. For those living far from towns, it feels abstract, like a story carried on the wind. Life here still depends on soil, rain, and patience. Settlements remain small and spread apart. Distance continues to shape experience. Travel takes time. Paths are learned through use rather than maps. Each journey is planned carefully, respecting the land's scale. As more people begin to arrive from the east, drawn by open land and quiet opportunity, they come slowly. Their journeys are long and deliberate. When they arrive, they must adjust to the pace of Texas rather than bringing their own. The land teaches them quickly. Heat encourages rest. Distance demands preparation. Silence invites awareness. New homes appear gradually. They are simple and practical, built to shelter rather than impress. They rest lightly on the earth, shaped by necessity and available materials. Life remains centered around routine. Meals are prepared slowly. Hands move with familiarity. Conversation is gentle, often replaced by shared silence. Trade begins to increase, but it remains calm and practical. Goods move along rivers and paths, carried patiently. Exchanges are thoughtful, built on trust rather than speed. Different ways of living exist side by side. Long-time residents and newcomers observe one another quietly. Understanding grows slowly, through repetition rather than agreement. Afternoons remain warm and still. Movement eases naturally. People rest in shade, allowing the day to stretch. The land seems to encourage this pause, offering stillness without asking. During these quiet hours, the vastness of Texas feels especially present. Sound carries far, time feels open and unmeasured, thoughts drift easily. As evening approaches, activity resumes gently. Animals are checked again, fields receive final attention. Travel continues if needed, unhurried. Evenings bring calm closeness, fires glow softly, food is shared, voices remain low. The sky darkens gradually, revealing familiar stars. Night arrives evenly across the land. Sleep comes easily after steady effort. Dreams drift quietly, shaped by open space and routine. As Texas becomes part of the United States, the change feels less like a beginning and more like an expansion. Life does not turn sharply, it widens slowly, accommodating new people, new paths, new connections. The land remains the constant presence. It does not hurry progress. It does not respond to ambition. It continues to shape every life that rests upon it. This is the beginning of westward expansion, felt not as movement but as settling, as patience, as quiet continuity. As this first part of the story unfolds, there is nothing you need to follow closely, nothing that requires effort. You can let your breathing slow. You can let your thoughts drift. Texas continues to stretch wide beneath the sky, holding old rhythms and new connections together, moving forward without urgency, steady and calm. As the night deepens and rest draws near, time continues its slow and steady movement across the land, and Texas remains open, quiet, and patient beneath the wide sky. The idea of belonging to a larger nation settles gently into daily life, never demanding attention, never interrupting routine. For most people, the land still feels closer than any distant authority. Morning arrives as it always has. Light spreads softly across fields, rivers, and long stretches of open ground. The air is cool for a while, carrying the scent of earth and grass. People wait calmly, guided by habit rather than instruction. Daily work begins without urgency. Animals are checked. Water is gathered carefully. Fields are observed with steady attention. The land still decides what can be done and when. As more settlers arrive from the east, drawn by the promise of space and opportunity, they do not arrive all at once. They come in small groups, slowly, often after long journeys that require patience and endurance. When they reach Texas, they pause, sensing the scale and quiet of the land. These newcomers must learn to adjust. The land does not respond well to haste. Heat slows movement, distance stretches effort, silence invites reflection. Those who listen find balance more easily. New settlements appear gradually, never crowding the land. Homes are built simply, shaped by need rather than ambition. They rest lightly on the earth, offering shelter without claiming permanence. Life in these growing communities remains quiet and practical. Meals are prepared slowly. Tools are used carefully, then set aside. Conversation is gentle, often replaced by shared silence. Trade continues to grow, but it does so calmly. Goods move along rivers and paths at a measured pace. Exchanges are thoughtful, based on trust built through repetition rather than speed. The land continues to shape all interactions. Long distances encourage self-reliance. Quiet spaces encourage patience. The wide sky reminds everyone that there is time enough for everything. Different ways of living exist side by side. Long-time residents and newcomers observe one another quietly. Understanding grows slowly, through daily contact and shared effort. Afternoons remain warm and still. The sun rests high in the sky. Movement eases naturally. People seek shade and rest without guilt. The day stretches wide, offering space rather than pressure. During these hours, Texas feels especially vast. Sound carries far. Time feels unmeasured. Thoughts drift easily, unburdened by urgency. As evening approaches, activity resumes gently. Animals are checked again. Fields receive quiet attention. Travel continues if needed, unhurried. Evenings bring comfort and familiarity. Fires glow softly. Food is shared. Voices remain low. The sky deepens gradually, revealing familiar stars. Night arrives evenly across the land. Darkness is not feared. It brings rest. Sleep comes easily after steady, unhurried days. As westward expansion continues, it does not feel like movement across a line. It feels like a slow filling of space guided by patience and necessity. People spread out rather than crowding together. The land remains wide enough to hold everyone. Life continues to be shaped more by earth and sky than by distant decisions. The idea of belonging to a larger nation remains in the background, present but not pressing. This period is not defined by dramatic moments. It is defined by continuity, by routine, by the quiet acceptance of change as something that unfolds slowly. As this part of the story drifts onward, there is nothing you need to hold on to, nothing you need to follow closely. You can let your breathing slow. You can let your thoughts soften. Texas continues to stretch westward gently, holding new paths and familiar rhythms together, moving forward without urgency, steady, calm, and patient. As rest settles in and sleep draws closer, the land of Texas continues to hold its steady shape beneath the wide and patient sky. Time moves forward quietly, without sharp edges, without sudden turns. What has begun does not rush toward an ending. It simply settles in. Days continue to follow familiar patterns. Morning light arrives softly, touching fields, rivers, and distant horizons. The air is cool for a brief while, offering calm before the warmth of the day arrives. People wake slowly, guided by habit and by the land's gentle cues. Daily work begins as it always has. Animals are checked with care, water is gathered thoughtfully. Fields are observed more than they are controlled. Hands move with experience rather than force. As westward expansion continues, it does not feel like a wave or a surge. It feels like a gradual spreading out. More homes appear across the land, but they remain separated by long stretches of quiet. The openness of Texas remains intact, wide enough to absorb new presence without losing its calm. New settlers learn quickly that this land cannot be hurried. Journeys take time. Plans change with weather and distance. The land teaches patience without speaking. Those who arrive from the east often pause when they first settle. They take time to listen. They notice how silence stretches differently here, how the sky feels larger, how the day seems to unfold rather than progress. Life remains centered on routine. Meals are prepared slowly. Tools are used carefully, then put away. Conversation is gentle and often brief, leaving room for shared quiet. Communities remain small and loosely connected. People know one another by familiarity rather than formality. Trust is built through repeated presence, through small acts of cooperation, through shared understanding of the land's demands. Trade continues to grow, but it never becomes hurried. Goods move along rivers, trails, and familiar paths. Exchanges are calm and thoughtful. Value is measured in usefulness rather than speed. The land continues to shape behavior more strongly than any distant idea of progress. Long distances encourage preparation. Open space encourages reflection. Silence encourages awareness. Afternoons remain warm and slow. Movement eases naturally. People rest in shade without guilt or worry. The land seems to invite this pause, offering stillness as a form of balance. During these quiet hours, Texas feels especially vast. Sound carries far. Time feels unmeasured. Thoughts drift easily, unburdened by urgency or expectation. As the day begins to cool, activity resumes gently. Animals are checked again. Water is gathered. Fields receive final attention. There is no rush to complete everything before night. Evenings bring comfort and familiarity. Fires glow softly, food is shared. Voices remain low, often fading into silence. The sky darkens gradually, revealing stars that feel close and steady. Night settles evenly across the land. Darkness is not feared, it is welcomed as rest. Sleep comes easily after steady effort and quiet days. As Texas continues to grow westward, it does not lose its sense of stillness. The expansion does not crowd the land. It spreads gently, leaving space for quiet between lives. Life remains shaped by earth and sky more than by borders or ambition. The idea of belonging to a larger nation remains distant, present but not pressing. Daily routines continue to matter more. Over time, this period becomes less about movement and more about settling, about learning how to live within wide space, about understanding that progress here feels slow because the land asks it to be. There is no single moment that defines this chapter. It unfolds gradually, like a long afternoon easing into evening. Nothing demands attention. Nothing insists on being remembered clearly. The land remains. The rhythm continues. As this part of the story comes to rest, you do not need to stay awake. You do not need to follow what comes next. You can let your breathing slow. You can let your thoughts soften. Texas continues to stretch wide beneath the sky, holding old routines and new paths together, moving forward patiently, calm and steady, as the night deepens and sleep settles in fully. As this long story gently comes to a close, the land of Texas remains where it has always been, wide, steady, patient beneath the open sky. Time continues to move forward, but there is no need to follow it now. The rivers will keep flowing. The plains will keep breathing with the wind. Cities and towns will continue their quiet routines. Morning will follow night, just as it always has. You do not need to remember every part of this journey. You do not need to hold on to names, places, or moments. This story was never meant to be held tightly. It was meant to pass through you slowly, like a calm breeze, leaving behind only a sense of ease. The people of the past have settled back into the land. Their footsteps have softened. Their voices have faded into quiet memory. What remains is rhythm, routine, the steady feeling of life continuing without hurry. Texas today carries all of this gently within it. Ancient paths, quiet mornings, slow afternoons, evenings that invite rest. Nothing has been lost. It has simply changed shape over time. Now, there is nothing more you need to do. No story to follow, no detail to keep track of. The land will continue without your attention. If sleep has already found you, that is perfectly fine. If you are still listening, you can allow yourself to rest now. Let your breathing slow. Let your body sink into stillness. The sky is calm. The night is quiet. The story has reached a peaceful pause. And just like the land itself, everything can rest. Slowly, softly, and without effort.